The silent strike. The morning shift at Titan's Rest had just begun when the sky changed color. Marcus Chen stood at the observation deck of Mining Station 7, watching the crimson sunrise over the methane-rich canyons of Kepler 442b. For 3 years, this remote colony had been humanity's furthest outpost, a testament to their determination to spread among the stars. The colony housed 12,000 souls, mostly miners and their families, along with scientists studying the planet's unique crystalline formations that powered Earth's new quantum drives. Marcus adjusted his environmental suit and checked the morning reports. Production was up 15%. The new automated extractors were working perfectly. His daughter Emma would be starting school next week in the colony's newly built education center. Life was good on the frontier. Then the shadows came. 3 massive vessels materialized above the colony without warning. They were angular, predatory things, each one larger than the entire human settlement below. Their hulls were a deep obsidian black that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Marcus felt his blood freeze as emergency sirens began wailing across the colony. In the command center, Colony Administrator Rachel Torres stared at the tactical display in disbelief. The ships had appeared from nowhere, bypassing all their early warning systems. Her communications officer, David Park, was frantically working his console. Administrator, they're broadcasting on all frequencies. It's in perfect English. The main screen flickered to life, revealing a being that would haunt humanity's nightmares for generations to come. The Corvani stood 9 feet tall with elongated limbs covered in chitinous armor. Its face was a nightmare of compound eyes and mandibles that clicked as it spoke through some form of translation device. Humans of mining colony Titan's Rest. I am War Commander Thresh of the Corvani Empire. Your presence in this sector violates our expansion protocols. You have 1 rotation of your planet to evacuate. Those who remain will be eliminated. Your species' primitive understanding of space travel suggests you cannot comply with this timeline. This is not our concern. The transmission ended abruptly. Rachel turned to her staff, seeing the same mixture of fear and defiance in their eyes. Options? She asked, though she already knew the answer. Marcus had rushed back from the observation deck and now stood with the colony's security chief, Lieutenant Colonel James Mitchell. Our defense grid might slow them down for maybe an hour, Mitchell said grimly. We have 30 combat-trained personnel and some mining equipment we could weaponize. Against those ships, we're looking at total annihilation. Rachel moved to the quantum communicator, humanity's only faster-than-light communication method. The device could send 1 burst transmission that would reach Earth instantly, but it would burn out immediately after. She had to make every word count. Earth. This is Titan's Rest. Colony under attack by hostile alien force identifying as Corvani Empire. 3 capital ships, overwhelming firepower. They demand evacuation in 24 hours, which is impossible. 12,000 civilians, including 3,000 children. Initiating evacuation to mines, but cannot hold long. Humanity's first contact is hostile. Response critical. Colony Administrator Torres end transmission. The message sent, the device sparked and died. They were now truly alone. Within the hour, the Corvani proved they meant business. Precision strikes eliminated the colony's defense platforms like swatting flies. But they seemed content to wait, perhaps curious to see if humans would actually attempt to flee. It was a cruel game to them. Rachel organized the evacuation with military precision. The deepest mines could shelter maybe half the population. Families were separated, children crying as parents pushed them onto transport vehicles. Marcus found himself leading a group of miners in converting their equipment into crude weapons. Plasma cutters became rifles, seismic charges became bombs. It was hopeless, but humans didn't go down without a fight. 20 hours into the siege, young Emma Chen stood with her class in Mine Shelter 3, singing songs to keep the younger children calm. Her teacher, Mrs. Sarah Kim, held back tears as she watched these brave children face annihilation with more courage than most adults could muster. Outside, the Corvani had begun landing troops, insectoid warriors in powered armor that made them nearly invulnerable to the colonists' improvised weapons. Back on Earth, 14 light-years away, the quantum message arrived at United Earth Command like a thunderbolt. General Harrison Wade read it 3 times before the full implications sank in. Humanity was not alone, and they were under attack. Within minutes, an emergency session of the United Earth Council convened. President Maria Delgado addressed the assembled leaders of Earth's nations via secure hologram. Ladies and gentlemen, 40 minutes ago we received a distress call from Titan's Rest. Humanity has made first contact and it is hostile. 12,000 of our people are under immediate threat of extinction. The Chinese representative, Ambassador Liu Wei, spoke first. How quickly can we respond? Admiral Jennifer Cross, head of the United Earth Navy, pulled up tactical projections. Our fastest ships can reach Titan's Rest in 3 weeks using quantum drive, but we only have 50 combat-ready vessels, against 3 alien capital ships of unknown capability. The Russian delegate slammed his fist on the table. Then we send everything. Every ship, every weapon, every soldier. They attack one human colony. They attack all humanity. President Delgado raised her hand for silence. The question isn't whether we respond, but how massively. I propose we don't just send a rescue fleet. We send a message to the galaxy. Attack humanity and face the consequences. The vote was unanimous. Within hours, Earth transformed into something the galaxy had never seen. Every shipyard went into overdrive. Civilian vessels were requisitioned and armed. The Mars colonies volunteered their entire defense fleet. The asteroid miners retrofitted their ships with weapons. Even the generational ship being built for Alpha Centauri was repurposed as a battleship. In factories across Earth, production lines that had made consumer goods for generations retooled for war. The entire planet's industrial might focused on a single goal: save Titan's Rest. Show the galaxy that humanity would not be victimized. Dr. Alan Reeves, Earth's leading xenobiologist, worked frantically analyzing every frame of the Corvani transmission. Their technology is advanced, but not impossibly so. They rely on intimidation. They expect us to cower. They've never faced a species that unifies when threatened. As Earth prepared its response, Marcus Chen and the survivors on Titan's Rest continued their desperate resistance. They had held out for 36 hours now, far longer than the Corvani expected. The aliens seemed puzzled by the humans' refusal to surrender even when facing certain death. In Mine Shelter 3, Emma Chen drew pictures of Earth with the other children, telling them stories about the blue skies and green grass they would see again. She didn't know that 14 light-years away, 1,000 ships were preparing to launch. She didn't know that humanity's greatest strength wasn't its technology or its weapons, but its refusal to abandon its own. The Corvani war commander Thresh stood on the bridge of its vessel, studying the tactical reports. These humans were proving more resilient than anticipated. No matter. In a few more hours, it would glass the entire colony as an example to any other primitive species that might challenge Corvani expansion. It had no idea what was coming. The thunder of Terra 3 weeks. That's how long the colonists of Titan's Rest had to survive. On Earth, those 3 weeks saw the greatest mobilization in human history. The planet that had once torn itself apart in world wars now united with singular purpose. In the Shanghai shipyards, workers pulled 48-hour shifts, sleeping beside the vessels they were building. Maria Jiang, a welder who had never built anything more dangerous than a transport shuttle, found herself installing weapons systems on converted cargo ships. Her son was in the Space Force. Every rivet she placed, every weld she made was for him and the 12,000 souls on Titan's Rest. The response fleet grew beyond anyone's wildest estimates. 50 combat vessels became 500, then 1,000, then more. Private corporations donated ships. Billionaires emptied their hangars. The belt miners arrived with vessels ugly as sin, but armed to the teeth with mining lasers that could carve through asteroids or alien hulls. Admiral Jennifer Cross stood on the bridge of humanity's flagship, the UES Perseverance, watching the fleet assemble around Earth. Her tactical officer, Commander Robert Hayes, couldn't hide his amazement. Final count, Admiral: 1,743 vessels. Everything from our latest battleships to... Is that a luxury yacht with railguns? Cross smiled grimly. The Spirit of Vegas. Casino owner donated it, then volunteered as crew. He's manning one of those railguns personally. She turned to the fleet-wide communication system. All vessels, this is Admiral Cross. In our entire history, humanity has never assembled a force like this. We go not for conquest, but for rescue. We go to show the galaxy that humans protect their own. All ships prepare for quantum jump. Meanwhile, on Titan's Rest, the situation had become desperate. The colonists had held for 2 weeks through guerrilla tactics and sheer determination. But ammunition was running low. Food was scarce. The children in the shelters were getting sick from the poor air circulation. Marcus Chen led another raid on a Corvani supply depot, losing 3 good people but securing enough food for another few days. The aliens had stopped trying to understand human resistance and moved to systematic extermination. Section by section, they were clearing the colony. Rachel Torres maintained command from the deepest bunker, coordinating the resistance. She'd become something of a legend among the colonists, the administrator who refused to surrender, who spoke defiance to the aliens during every communication attempt. The Corvani had tried to break their spirit by broadcasting the executions of captured colonists. Instead, it had only made the survivors fight harder. War Commander Thresh was beyond frustrated. These primitives should have been eliminated in hours, not weeks. Its reputation in the Empire was suffering. It had requested reinforcements, but command had laughed. 3 capital ships couldn't handle 1 primitive colony. Thresh would never live down the shame. Then the sensors detected something impossible. Quantum signatures, hundreds of them, then thousands. Thresh's compound eyes widened in disbelief as ship after ship materialized at the edge of the system. The tactical display looked like a swarm of angry insects, each dot representing a human vessel. The primitive species that had barely achieved faster-than-light travel had somehow assembled an armada. Admiral Cross opened a channel to the Corvani ships. Corvani vessels, this is Admiral Jennifer Cross of the United Earth Fleet. You have attacked human civilians. You have murdered our people. You have one chance. Surrender now, or face the consequences of awakening humanity's wrath. Thresh's response was to open fire. It was the worst mistake of its life. The battle that followed would be studied by military academies across the galaxy for centuries. The humans didn't fight with superior technology. They fought with superior rage. Every ship, from the massive battleships to the converted mining vessels, attacked with suicidal determination. When the luxury yacht Spirit of Vegas rammed a Corvani destroyer, its owner broadcasting "Vegas never folds." Before impact, even the aliens began to understand they had miscalculated. The 3 Corvani capital ships were powerful, their shields strong, their weapons devastating. But they were designed to fight other capital ships, not a swarm of vessels willing to die for victory. Mining ships used their industrial lasers to slowly cut through shields. Cargo haulers turned themselves into kinetic missiles. The humans fought like their entire species' survival depended on this battle, because they believed it did. On the ground, the colonists heard the battle raging above. Emma Chen and the other children were brought to observation windows to watch the sky light up with explosions. The Corvani ground forces, realizing their fleet was under attack, began retreating to their dropships. Marcus Chen led the charge from the mines. Armed colonists, running on adrenaline and hope, pushed back against the aliens who had tormented them for weeks. The Corvani, for all their advanced technology, had never faced a species that grew stronger when cornered. The battle lasted 18 hours. When it ended, all 3 Corvani capital ships were destroyed or captured. War Commander Thresh was taken alive, though barely. It would later testify to the Corvani Empire about the humans' inexplicable response to the attack on a single colony. The rescue ships landed to scenes of celebration and tears. Families reunited. Soldiers embraced civilians they'd never met but had crossed the galaxy to save. Emma Chen ran to her father Marcus, who held her as Admiral Cross personally thanked him for holding out so long. But the story didn't end there. The captured Corvani technology advanced human understanding by decades. The galaxy had taken notice. Other species who had watched the Corvani Empire expand through intimidation for centuries suddenly saw them defeated by a primitive species that had achieved spaceflight less than a century ago. Ambassador Liu Wei led humanity's first diplomatic mission to the Galactic Council. When asked how a young species had defeated the Corvani so decisively, he gave an answer that would echo through history. You made the mistake of thinking we were weak because we were young. You thought we would abandon our distant colony to save ourselves. You don't understand humans. We are one species, one family. Attack one of us and you attack all of us. We crossed the galaxy for 12,000 people. Imagine what we'd do if you threatened Earth. The Corvani Empire formally apologized and paid reparations. They would never again venture into human space. Other species, seeing humanity's response, offered trade agreements and alliances. The small mining colony of Titan's Rest had become the catalyst for humanity's acceptance into the galactic community. Rachel Torres was offered a position as Earth's first interstellar ambassador but declined. She chose to remain on Titan's Rest, rebuilding it into a symbol of human resilience. The colony grew to 10 times its original size, with a memorial to those lost and a museum dedicated to the Battle of Titan's Rest. Marcus Chen continued mining, but now his daughter Emma attended the colony's new interstellar academy, learning alongside young beings from dozens of species. When asked by her new alien friends why humans had responded so forcefully to the attack, she gave them the simple answer her father had taught her. Because that's what humans do. We protect each other. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Humanity might be young, might be relatively primitive, but they possessed something more powerful than advanced technology. They had unity, determination, and an absolute refusal to abandon their own. The Corvani had thought one colony would fall easily. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant that would shape the galaxy's future for millennia to come. Word spread through the cosmic void. The humans were here, and they were not to be trifled with.